Hello and welcome to The Lab, a Minecraft podcast where we explore, experiment, and theorize about all things Minecraft. I am MinerThoughts, and with me is my co-host, my brother from down under, The1Troj. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's early morning for me, so the brain's not quite engaged just yet, which would probably explain the little pre-intro exchange you and I just had, which hopefully will never hear the light of day. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Well, in the future, you'll just have to subscribe to the Patreon, the eventual Patreon, to get the behind-the-scenes stuff. Anyway, moving on.
Future plans. Not like you to give away
Future plans.
But anyway.
Oh, sorry. Spoilers. That is my job.
That's your job? Fair enough. Until then, listen to the end of the episode. It might show up there. Who knows?
Yeah. Feedback. It's feedback for the end of the month, for the month of October, I believe.
Indeed, yeah.
We got a little bit.
I just can't believe it's November already. That is crazy.
I know. And we can listen to Christmas music now without feeling guilty.
Elaine and I seem to have this thing that we love our Christmas carols, and it hits the 1st of November. We start singing them, and everyone else gets annoyed, so it's great.
They'll get over it.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. So the first lot of feedback actually comes through from the last feedback, ironically enough. And our favorite, our friend, our thesis writer, Devara, is back, and she's going to feature a lot on today's episode. And if you're a first-time listener, Devara, when she leaves comments, and they're huge, and I will always get a message from her. There's another essay in the Lab podcast that was just put out, the next episode. There's a novel again. so yeah, she doesn't hold back, which is great. And again, we're not going to read them all out, otherwise the entire episode will be, we may maybe just entitle it Devara. She mentioned, obviously, it's feedback about our episode 1 that we revisited, and the talk about what is epic. And she's put a lot in there about, just about building in general. And I think the last one is really what's important. No matter what, the more you keep building, the more you make, the more skilled you are going to become, and hopefully the more fun you'll have in the process. And I think that's absolutely accurate. At the time of recording, we've just come off the Halloween build competition on Interrupts, and the amount of people that had said to me, I'm not a builder, I can't do this, I don't know what to do, I've got no idea. And then you come to what they've done for this build competition, and they've knocked it out of the park. You know, the Timid Terry was one that said that, and, you know, she's done a haunted house, which is the first time she's used World Edit to assist. It's the biggest thing she's ever individually built, and it's fantastic. She got help with the insides, with the interior, with her minecart ride, and yeah, the whole thing has just come together so well. Same with SB, Sir Bersalak. You know, he was also one of the ones I got no idea what to do. And while the build isn't massive, isn't big, concept behind it is it hit deep. It hit really deep. He's done. I don't know if you've seen it, Miner, but basically at the front there's a book on a lectern, and basically goes about those that have made an impact on his life and taught him some life lessons. And you walk into here, and it's people that have impacted his life, and you press buttons, and you'll get like little sound bites of, you know, maybe their famous quotes or part of their songs or something like that. And it really hit deep, you know. So it was probably one that really showed to be epic doesn't need to be big or highly detailed if the concept is also epic. And I thought that was amazing.
It's funny because I was thinking about this. This is kind of along the same lines, but maybe a little bit of a tangent. I was thinking about this, I think it was just yesterday, or it was this week. Anyway, I was like, I have been feeling really, really creative lately, you know. That creative spark is kind of, I'm on a peak, on an upswing of creativity, I guess you would call it. And I was thinking, where did I get this creativity? Is it hereditary? Is it something that, that I got from my mom or I got from my dad. How did I become creative? And I don't think it's a something that's genetic. I really, really think it's something it's who you surround yourself with. It's your environment. It's the things that you challenge and try. And the people that you are inspired by. I think that's how people become creative. Even if they don't have any creativity in them, if they spend enough time in a creative environment, they will themselves become creative.
I think it sort of comes back to that whole nature versus nurture thing. I think for me, I don't think it's necessarily inherent in someone that they're going to be creative. I think you're right. For me personally, like, I don't classify myself as a creative person, even though I like making videos and streaming and building and stuff like that, or attempting to build anyway. But if I look back to where it came through from me, was probably I'm an only child. So there was a lot of times there where I had to make my own fun. And my mum and dad, very, single income family. Dad was, always a labourer and those sort of jobs. So money was always very tight. So there wasn't a whole lot of money to go and do things, and I was one of those kids that would run around till the sun went down and, kick a football around or whatever, or, throw a ball against a wall and practice my cricket playing abilities and stuff like that. One thing that I always had to do was, that always came through from mum was a love of reading. Well, I can't remember her reading much, but she always used to read to me when I was younger and really instilled a passion for reading in me. And I would always, sitting there with the toys, come up with storylines and things like that. So I think that's my creative outlet is coming up with a story. And I think that that shows in my videos is they're sort of bent more that way. Like it's trying to tell a narrative, trying to tell an overarching story, which doesn't always necessarily translate to a whole lot of good views, but I have fun putting it together. And, I've just suddenly started doing a 7 Days to Die series with Blind Cubsy. And it wasn't enough when we were discussing how do we do it. It wasn't enough just to do, let's do a let's play. There's a story behind it, like we got 7 days we got to survive. We got 7 days to get extracted, and we can't get extracted if we're infected and those sort of things. So there's always got to be that story behind it for me. And I guess that's my way of being creative. Like I can't paint, I can't draw, but I like to tell stories.
I mean, we all go through highs and lows creatively. And that's an episode we eventually want to talk about is, those creative blocks. But it's when you start getting that spark again, and you kind of get into a creative rhythm, just other things pop up, and you have different ideas. I just recently told you about an idea that I don't know where it came from. I just started thinking about, what if I did this? And it just kind of developed to where it's turning into something that could be possible in vanilla Minecraft. And I don't want to spoil too much because my problem with my ideas, I can have ideas all day long. Whether or not I follow through on these ideas is another story. So I'm glad that spark is there again.
Yeah, I think it's something that does come and go. Like, this weekend, at this time of recording, we are, this, at time of you listening this, if you're listening at time of, release, the week of release, we're literally recording this on Sunday morning and it's going to come out in, a few hours time sort of thing. This weekend, I've had no motivation. I come off an 80-hour work week this week and I was just absolutely smashed. That really kills your creativity as well. You can have all the ideas in the world. And I agree, ideas can come from anywhere. It's just also your real life influences as well can just leave you with nothing. And it's sort of, when you end up with a week like that, you sort of blink and your weekend's gone because you've slept to catch up on a lot of lack of sleep and you're just feeling exhausted. I was on the tools this week, which I haven't been on for a long time. and it just, it takes it out of you. Going back to that, the ideas where they come from, I can remember, ideas can come from anywhere. We're on a massive tangent here, but I think it's a really interesting chat. Talking about stories, I've got a story for a book in my mind I came up with years ago, and it came from a dream. I woke up and remembered this dream vividly, and I remember thinking, hey, that's actually a really cool story, nice little twist in it and all sorts of stuff. And that idea is still in the back of my head. It's just a time thing. It's like, when will I ever get time to write again? But we digress a little bit, and sort of segueing into things that can impact on your creativity and motivation. Is we actually got a little bit of a touch up from someone on one of our videos. We on our episodes, we don't often get a negatively slanted one, but we got one. And it was from Adam, which we haven't heard from for a little while. So good to hear you're still listening. And we encourage feedback of all descriptions. And it was about the one entitled "The Minecraft Movie Sucks," which was one of your monthly rants.
Right. Call it what it is. It's a rant.
It's a rant.
And just for those listeners that I know will listen, I clearly say these are the facts as I see them. So they are my opinions. So there's the disclaimer.
Well, the disclaimer that I'm going to throw out before, let me read the email, and then I'll say something, and then if you want to add something, you may as well. Howdy, gentlemen. Love the show and respect you both, but gotta say, Miner, your opinion is yours. That said, I'm with Troj all the way on this. Yes. You guys have historically done a good job of keeping yourselves removed from the toxicity of the community. Sadly, this rant went in the other direction. Staking a claim as powerful as "it sucks" is ill-advised when doing so over a teaser trailer which inherently lacks story context. Additionally, while I agree with you that Minecraft is not simply a kid's game, adults can still watch the movie that they are making, but not all kids would be able to watch a more adult version. Ticket sales and marketing plays a big role in how movies are made. Bottom line, no statement like "it sucks" or "it's awesome" should be made so prematurely. You're simply not informed enough to stake that claim. Listening to that episode really disappointed me. Troj, keep it up. Well, thank you for the support on Troj, but I've got to come clean a little bit. The title, "The Minecraft Movie Sucks," was me. That did not come from Miner. I do all the editing, and I do all the SEO. I do all the titles and descriptions based on SEO, and I use things like vidIQ to help me get things. And one of the best responded to, according to the vidIQ things, was "The Minecraft Movie Sucks." It was clickbait. I'm sorry. I'll be honest. Like, when it comes to YouTube in particular, we don't particularly focus on YouTube as a avenue for the podcast. It gets put on YouTube because it's there and it's possible. We're more worried about the metrics of the podcast, things like Spotify and Apple and Acast and all those sort of things. That's more where we're seeing the good and big growth. YouTube's just there. But you still want to, when you put it out there on YouTube, you still want to try and get those hits. And so I entitled it that. That was definitely not Miner. With that said, we don't necessarily shy away from, if we don't like something or we disagree with something, we will probably throw it out there. And I think, I've been critical of a lot of things over the time. And yes, while I do agree that we're basing things on the bit of the trailer did suck. It was not a good trailer. I think the trailer probably did more harm than good. And I think it's been a little while since we recorded that episode or that rant. I think for me, I was very much on the, oh no, what have they done bandwagon until I saw the footage and stuff that came from Minecraft Live. And that helped. So, sometimes trailers can actually do more harm than good. And if I could actually compare this to Transformers 1, which was the most recent animated Transformers movie that came out, the trailer that came out had everyone thinking this is a really kiddie movie. It's all goofy and whatever. And it bombed at the box office. But you know what? People are watching it now on streaming. I've seen it. I actually think it's better than the 1986 Transformers movie, which is a big call. It's not. I think the trailer did that movie a disservice. And I think the same thing here is his first trailer for the Minecraft movie. Yeah, I think it's got a lot of people thinking the movie is going to suck based on just that. I do agree with Adam that, you probably shouldn't judge a book by its cover. But when the makers of a movie are going to put out a trailer like that, they've got to be prepared for some feedback.
Well, I should clarify some things. This concept, this segment that I do, called Reality Check, it boils down to it's all in fun. Please don't take me too seriously. They are my opinions, and at the end of the day, they are my opinions. But I tend to poke fun at certain YouTubers that they do put clickbait out there, and I'd like to maybe sometimes call them out on it. So that's the idea around the reality check. But they are rants. They are rants, and this one, I kind of knew it was going to be a clickbaity type thing, but just for my sanity, a clarification on this particular episode. What Troj's comments were, missed the point. I'm just going to say that right now, and I called him out on it. I was not comparing Deadpool and Wolverine to the Minecraft movie. I know they are two separate things, but the original director attached to the Minecraft movie was the same one that directed Deadpool and Wolverine. So that I just so people are clarified on that, they may have missed that. Okay, I'm officially giving Troj a reality check right now.
That's okay. I stopped listening. But no, look, we appreciate the feedback, whether it's positive, negative, all of it, and we're not going to shy away from it. We appreciate you, Adam. Please, we love the fact that you're still listening, and please keep us in line, keep us in check. We love it all. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and if I get something wrong, then call me out on it. Give me a reality check. I appreciate that. I mean, it's interaction, and we appreciate the feedback, and that's why we do these feedback episodes, to talk about it, where, if we actually said something wrong.
Let us know. We're open to it all. Moving on to our episode about the imposter syndrome. And if you have listened to that one, I do apologize for the audio quality. It's not quite up there as normal. I've got serious computer problems at the moment, and for whatever reason, it just was, audio from both sides was not good. But hopefully my editing did, it helped a little bit. But our first comment there came from the amazing Cobble K Gaming. Another great podcast. Imposter syndrome is a great topic. It's reassuring in a way to know that other people have that self-doubt and question whether or not they belong. Every time I finish a build, I step back and question if it's good enough. I'm often not happy, but if I was happy at the level I am, I would probably stop improving. I love both your builds in the Halloween area. Troj managed something really special, completely unique and beautiful. Miner, yours, the bit I've seen on stream, is an experience, one that I'm excited to try. I do ramble on, don't I? And then just our friend Jurassic comes along with about the I do ramble. Devara, hold my beer, I'll put your ramble to shame. And she did a bit later. We'll come back to that one. But no, Cobble's one of those ones on Interrealms that her and I feel like are getting a really good connection and a good, really strong friendship forming. That's the way I feel. Hopefully she feels the same way as well. We're sort of at the stage where we'll bounce off each other our updates of our builds and things like that. She sends me pictures of her build in different stages to get my thoughts, and I'm honored and flattered that she thinks, getting my thought is helpful and beneficial. But Cobble is one of these ones, and I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, that has a tremendous amount of self-doubt on herself. I think she's one of the most, if not the most talented builders we've had on Interrealms. She is absolutely amazing. Her builds are stunning and very creative. And she's one that should have that self-confidence and not feel the imposter syndrome. But it's interesting to see that she does have that. And I think it's something that filters through to everybody in some stage. You know, she made the comment there about my build in the Halloween district. I'm still looking at it going, is it a bit of a dog's breakfast? Does it actually work? Does it come together? People seem to say it's good. So I think it's just I think it's a human nature thing, isn't it? To self-doubt yourself.
Yeah. I mean, something that I didn't mention, don't think I mentioned in that episode was that I meant to talk about, like even in real life, you have that imposter syndrome. I've been doing mining for 20 years and done a lot of different things. And electrician is one of those things. And my boss said, hey, this motor is down, unwire it, wire the new one up. And the whole time, I'm doing it and I got it done, but I've got that doubt in the back of my mind. It's like, what if I mess something up? It started right up. Everything's running. It's going awesome. So, you still have those, even though you may have done something over and over again and you can do it, sometimes you still have that doubt in your mind that, what if I did it wrong?
Yeah, I think that's something that is inherent. Like with work this week, the reason I was so busy is I started up a new contract that came out of nowhere. We had our first inspection at the end of the week. And I know it always happens when you're starting a new thing and trying to set the bar at a really high level. And after we had that inspection on Friday, the Friday night shift, the guys came in and it's like all weekend I've been thinking, I hope they're happy on Monday. What if they've got it wrong again? It's just something that's part of life, isn't it? It invades every facet, every part of life that comes to you. You get that little voice in the back of the head going, what if? It's not good. It's not great feelings, but, I think it's definitely a human nature thing. But, someone like Cobble, she's a brilliant builder. She should have all the confidence in the world. And, I've seen her next step for her main base, her mega base, and it is something else. It is something else.
Yes. Yeah. And she showed a little bit of, she's finally streaming a little bit. And, I was like, you need to do this more. Because I saw a little bit of it and I'm like, wow, just, you need to teach us how to build.
Yeah, no, she is absolutely amazing. And if you haven't seen her, Cobble K Gaming on YouTube, definitely need to go check her out. Tell her the boys from the lab sent you when you get jump over there and leave a comment on her latest videos. The next one was from, I'm sorry I've got the name wrong, but from Acarus Fox, played since 2011. And I've never beaten the Ender Dragon. And I think you replied to that one, but you still enjoy the game, and that's what's important. There's a lot of people that actually, not that I'm saying that Acarus Fox is this, but there's a lot of people that you see on Facebook at times. They'll have this conversation, never beaten the dragon, I'm too scared, or I'm prepping to fight the dragon for the first time, what do I take with me, etc., etc. Well, the first thing is, don't worry, it's not that hard to fight. There's a lot of people in that category. Either they don't have the confidence that they can pull it off, or they don't want to, or they don't understand the importance at the end plays in the game. And I've got to admit, I fell into that category very early on. I'd never done the dragon until I did it with DTG, my son, on season 1 when I actually went with you, Miner, when we did the hunt. Yeah. So that was the first time I'd fought the dragon. I had no concept how useful shoulder boxes and wings could be. Because I was at that time, I was still a baby to the Minecraft game. But Acarus, go give it a shot. You got nothing to lose. Go for it. Enjoy the experience.
Exactly. And that's maybe not to give too many spoilers, but of course I'm going to do it. That's a discussion we need to have in the future is how people play in their single player worlds, reimagined. There's just places that she doesn't go. She won't go to an ancient city. She won't go to the end, well, she has, gone to the end by herself, but I mean, there was a point to where we were afraid to go as well. So, just people play different ways, and that's a whole nother subject. We'll have that one later.
And then we got from Devara. I did say that Devara was going to feature a lot in today's episode, and I think the comment she left on this video on YouTube is the longest one she's done. So there's no way I can read it all, but I'm going to take 2 snippets out of it. In regards to imposter syndrome, honestly, I think everyone feels it to different levels throughout their lives, which is sort of what we've just mentioned. The first time that someone tries singing, dancing, drawing, writing, even other things like riding a bike or walking around. When you first start your journey, you're imitating things that you've seen done or heard before and trying to match yourself to them. The more you practice at it, the better you get. Think about voice actors. They didn't start their lives being able to sound exactly like whatever character. They learned to manipulate their voices to sound like multiple different people. And that's sort of going back to what we were just saying, the same with the building one that we were talking about before. It's practice makes perfect is the saying, but I don't think anyone's ever perfect at anything that they ever do. But practice definitely leads to improvement. And, in terms of what you were just saying before, Miner, about, people don't like going to some areas. Sometimes it's just a case of they're not familiar with that area. So it's that fear of the unknown, or fear of what might happen. And you're right. I remember being not scared to go to the end, but I was not wanting to go because I didn't want to fall into the void and lose all my stuff that I just, put a lot of work into going. Now, if I need shulker boxes, despite the fact on Interrealms we've got a shulker farm now, but, if we didn't have that, before we had that, I need shulker boxes, off I go. Because I'm now used to it. And, I know that, for me, I've got a special set of armor, just diamond armor, that I've thrown together that is designed to put up with, like, it's got the whatever resistance it is that puts up, that helps the shulkers. I've got it actually specifically made for it, which helps. And you get, you learn how it works, you do what you do, and same with ancient cities. Yeah. I tend to not go in them because I find them boring. I don't see the point. Once I got my Swift Sneak, I'm out of there. And I see no other point to go to an ancient city. They're not fun. They're not exciting. It's just not my thing. So I'm always nervous when I go into an ancient city. But, you go with someone that's done them heaps, it's sort of a walk in the park. So, it's experience is the key to all knowledge, I guess.
Yeah.
And the last one that Devara said then, it comes right at the end of her comment, and it's very true, and it's a good thing to live by. Always remember to shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. After all, it's a lovely view either way. And, you got nothing to lose by trying.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's try and challenge yourself, try and push yourself. You may learn something along the way.
You just might. You never know. But this comes then to, I think, last week's episode, the Spooky Spectacular that we put out for Halloween. And again, by a comment here from Cobble K, I've had so much fun working on the Halloween event with everyone and practicing my terrible aim every time I see Troj. Can't wait to see what we do for Christmas. I don't know what we're doing for Christmas. I don't know how we're going to top Halloween, to be honest. We, at time of recording last night, we had our Halloween wrap-up event on the server. And despite some massive lag problems we had for some reason, it was quite a good success. We got around and look around at everyone's builds, got to try them all out. I made the comment that is definitely the best community-built area that we've ever had in our 4.5 years of doing Interrealm. It is something else.
And you're right. After seeing that, like how can we top this? And looking at it, I ask myself, we've come so far. How did we get here from season 1 or world 1? The Halloween area there in comparison to where we're at, and looking toward the future, I'm like, wow, who knows?
There's been a I don't know how to say this. There's been like a monumental shift on Interrealms since March. Well, no, not since March. Probably, I think people came into March into this world with a different philosophy and to try themselves. But I would say 3 or 4 months ago, something clicked with people. And the build started getting more, like, just what has happened on the server is just insane in terms of the quality, the standard, the detailing, the size. Size doesn't matter, but some of the builds that are coming out at the moment, when you say go do something small and it comes out this big, massive thing, it's inspiring. And, it's sort of, touching on the imposter syndrome again. Some people go, I can't do that. I can't compete. I don't want. And that was one thing actually that came up in the leading up to the Halloween build competition. A lot of people were saying, I don't want to be next to Cobble. I don't want to be next to Jurassics. I don't want to be next to Pixie. I don't want to be next to Troj. I don't think putting me in that category is necessarily the smartest thing to do because I'm not on their level. Everyone got in and just blended and everyone stepped up in their own way. I'm not calling SB out here, but his build, as an example, is not highly detailed, but it looks effective. And it's not as big as, say, mine or as Cobble's, who he's next to. Oh my goodness. The context of it is epic. And it's going to get a vote of mine in one of the categories. I just don't know which one just yet with the way we're doing the voting. But it really hit hard, the philosophy behind it. So you don't necessarily need to be on that, I know we're sort of backtracking a little bit, but it sort of crosses over. You don't need to be highly detailed to be epic. You don't need to be big to be epic. Just the concept alone sometimes is enough. And so everyone has stepped up massively across the board. And this is our best world by far. And, I haven't seen many servers with what we got going on. I haven't seen that many that has the same level. It's inspiring. Definitely inspiring.
Oh, definitely. And we talked briefly about it and before recording, and I just been thinking about that. Everybody's working on their bases and or mega bases, and a lot of those are epic in their own right. Yours, Jurassics, Cobbles. I need to take a server tour, but it's these community builds are just like when people, and that's why we call ourselves not really an SMP, we're a community SMP. These community things that have sprung up from the Nether Hub to the Spawn and now the Halloween. It's just when we get together and put our minds together as a community, I don't know what word bigger than epic, but it's amazing.
Well, you said the comment there before, how do we top it? And I said sort of the same thing, but you look at okay, let's look at the community projects to date. The Nether Hub was great. The mini games district came along and blew it away. Now you've got Halloween has blown mini games area away. Where to next? And it's an exciting journey to be on. And Devara, again, has commented here. And I'm actually going to get to talk about her comment twice this time because it's the smallest comment she's ever made. So I'm actually going to get to read hers in full this time. But I'm going to read the last sentence first because we're talking about the Halloween district first. From what I've seen of the Halloween area, it looks really good. Seeing areas where it showcases all the different ways that people build in one place, even if it's the same theme, is always amazing to see, in my opinion. And that ties back to what we've said before as well, but it was a comment that came through last night on the wrap-up event, was everyone has taken the theme of Halloween and interpreted it differently in a different way, a different style. My build is just an aesthetic thing. You sit back and you look at it. Others have done a purely an experience. Some have done mini games. Some have, reached into their heart and pulled out, like SB, this really deep and meaningful thing. How it was interpreted, Halloween, is just mind-blowing. We've got like 2 or 3 different haunted houses in there. They're all different. We've got 2 or 3 graveyards, but they're all different and they all speak a different way. I'm in love with the area. I really am. I really, really am.
Yeah, same.
But we had also in that episode, we'd spoke about the latest updates. So the creaking and the pale forest and all that. And so Devara said, I would love if the new flower gave off a low light level, like a light level of somewhere between 1 to 3, not any brighter. But between light level 1 to 3 would make sense. I think you all missed something important about the flower though. If you can plant them and they retain their ability to change between day and night, they are like a daylight sensor. With this, you could use a flower to be a daylight sensor in redstone and maybe make things smaller, because I don't think redstone signal is attached to a flower unless you're sensing it with an observer. Just a thought, in my opinion. Personally, I love the new amber block. I already have ideas for it and it makes me happy. I also love that you kind of need a creaking in an area to farm the resin to be able to actually get the resin to make the new amber blocks. I think that's the first Devara comment I've ever been able to read in full. I'm very proud to be able to do that. Daylight sense on the flower miner. You got the redstone knowledge. I think that with an observer, I think that's possible. I don't know if it would make it smaller because the daylight sensor is just a one block thing, whereas a flower with an observer, yeah, it's a slab basically. A daylight sensor, a flower with an observer would be 2 blocks. I don't know about the smaller thing, but it's definitely I would think it would have redstone uses.
I think, it's my opinion, I might cover this in a future reality check. I don't think they're finished. I mean, it is the winter drop. It feels like a Halloween drop, and it feels like it should come out, should have come out this month, but I don't think they're finished.
Yeah, and I don't think...
see what happens.
Yeah, I don't think they're finished either. I think I still think, yes, I agree it should have a light level, and Jurassic said it should be a light source as well in the comment there. I don't think it will, though, because it would make the forest not be spawnable other than the creaking, and I don't think they want that. I think they still want the mobs spawning normally. If you've got a flower that suddenly puts out a light source, then that whole biome basically becomes mob safe at nighttime apart from the creaking. So I think that's probably why we're not going to see that. But Jurassic's also made a comment there about the creaking itself. One-on-one, the creaking doesn't do too much damage. However, if you have 2, 3, or even 4, this will get much more challenging. Yes, I believe that is accurate. That is correct. I think that's going to give an interesting challenge, a unique challenge. And personally, I'm glad now that I've waited for my dungeon crawler minigame, because I think the creaking is going to be very, very useful. And dare I float the idea now, I can almost guarantee you that Tango Tech is planning Decked Out 3.
Oh, definitely. I've got some inspiration there. Like I said earlier, ideas, inspiration that are just floating around up there, and I just need to follow through with it.
Miner, that brings us to the end of the feedback for the month of October. I didn't think we're going to have much to talk about today, but we've been now recording for well over 40 minutes, so we better wrap up. Right. So how can people send through their feedback? Because we love getting it. Positive, negative, thoughts, feedback, all of it. We want it. Keep it coming, people. How can people do that, Miner?
Well, we're now on Blue Sky, and this week I have where you can actually find us on Blue Sky. Follow us over there. It's a place with not so much noise. We're at Lab MC Podcasts on Blue Sky. But I mean, if you want to, you can go back over to X at MC_podcast. That's where we are on X. Then if you want to leave a private message, you can do it through the Gmail at minecraftlabpodcast@gmail.com, or talk to us right there on the Discord server. All these links are down in the description. You can also find all these links on the website interrealmssmp.com and connect with us up in there. There's a thing up in the far top right, I believe, and it has the links for all the Interrealmers, all their links, where to find us on Twitch, where to find us on YouTube, and all the podcast listings.
And obviously, if you are watching us or listening to us on the YouTube, don't forget you can leave a comment on the video down below. And you know what? While you're there, hit the like button. And in fact, if you are listening, do us a favor, if you wouldn't mind, on whatever platform you're listening to us, give us a rating. Give us a 5-star rating if you're enjoying the content. It helps a lot with the growth and the algorithms for podcasts. It would be fantastic if you could find it in your hearts to do that little free thing, that would help us out.
Yes. And as time goes on, we're getting more and more feedback from different places, and we appreciate it. And that's why we do these episodes, to talk about the feedback of the feedback.
And we try to cover as many of them that we can. Sometimes there'll be some that we won't, because it may be something that someone has said exactly the same thing, and so we condense it to the one to try and save time. But please keep them coming. We love them all. But Miner, I have to go edit this now because it comes out in a few hours' time. We're a little bit behind the 8 ball this week due to real life commitments.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say goodbye and head out and start the edit.
Okay. Well, I was going to do my outro, but you already did the outro, so I'll just open it up.
Please don't. Let's wind it back the truck up. What do you need to say? So, Miner, where to from here?
If you have listened to us this far, we appreciate you. You are awesome, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you're right. That was a much better outro. Bye-bye.
The Minecraft episode.
Yes, the button it's pressed, you can record at any time. Hopefully my brain engages.
I am recording.
Justice.
Are you recording? I'm recording.
I'm recording. Are you recording? I am recording. I am recording for justice.
I'm practicing my voices for that other podcast thing.
Justice for Gotham.
Okay.